Hey everyone, this is Martin from howtomakemobilegames.com on September the 10th now. I'm just looking at my date, 2015. And this video is like a video response or I don't know, like just a comment on a video that I'd seen just recently from, you may know him. I've got to like turn my camera around carefully, guys, because I've got the forward-facing camera. This is from asoprofessional.com, and one of the guys on the forum mentioned it. And this is Gabriel. I've seen a few of his videos before. Sorry, can you see that? I've seen a few of his videos before, and he runs like an App Store optimization site and an App Store optimization service. And I've seen a couple of his videos, a couple of his posts, and I think he's a smart guy. And so yeah, that's why I wanted to do a reply video to this. And let me just set up this camera correctly, because I'll try not to look at the screen too much. So basically, yeah, I'm sorry guys, this is a bit of a messed up video so far. I'm just pulling up my notes here. So basically, he'd recently done a video and a post on here saying that App Store reskinning and the reskinning model is dead. Meaning that when you build an application or build a game and you just reskin code and then publish it into the App Store, that business model is dead or dying. And I agree. I totally agree. I'll try and stick to the points that I've laid down there, because I wanted to sort of, you know, have like a clear path to what I'm saying here. But yes, I totally agree. The model is going down, and also the normal model as well. For us, we, for example, PandaTap Games, which is our business based in Shanghai, we started to publish games from Chinese developers overseas. So we would help them to translate, test, give them SDK support, and then handle marketing, keywords, descriptions, all that stuff to say Amazon or Google or iOS. And that was doing pretty good in the beginning. We released Pop the Fruit 2, and that was doing pretty good. And we were getting some pretty good downloads each day. I can't remember exactly how much. But we were doing okay, and that was bringing in some okay money. And then we started to release some other games, and that started to do okay as well. And that started to make a bit of money. But around, I think it might have been 2013 or something like this, or yeah, about 2013. My partner, we spoke, and he said, "Martin, we're releasing more and more games, but we're not making more money. You know, we've got 2 games now. Why are we not making double, or at least a little bit more? Because I know, you know, quality can vary and downloads and so on." And I said, well, you know, let's try and release more. So we released more and more and more, and not tons of them. We don't have a lot of games from PandaTap Games, you know, compared to like accounts that have hundreds. But the money never went like this. It never went up and up and up. It always stayed at that same level every single time. Like always at the same level. And I started to realize this like maybe like over a year ago, that the problem is that because of competition, just the amount of like apps and games and craps that are pumped into the app stores every single day, it's just impossible to compete. Like I did a little bit of research yesterday, like keyword research, and I was looking at the one of the new games, and I think it was like called Unkilled or something like this. And this is one of the top ranked games. It's in like position 2 or 3 the other day on the US iTunes App Store. And immediately when I clicked on it, I seen a bunch of games that were listed with this game, completely unrelated, but they were the same games that I'd seen listed with another game that had ranked up high. And this one had been added just the Unkilled game was brand new. So I think what had happened is these developers, what they do is they just upload a new version all the time, a new version of their game. Even though this one's live and it's fine, they'll just immediately upload another version so that it's ready there to be published like next week, so that they can quickly look in the App Store and see what keywords are hot or which new games are hot, and then they can just put the keywords in there, and then their game will get ranked with that new game. And so it was that's their model. But the game is just a naff Flappy Bird clone. It's nothing. It's just one of the icons was just a circle, like a red circle. It's nothing. Completely just a garbage throwaway game that, you know, you play once, maybe twice, and then that's it. And we've done a bunch of like small games like that as well, of course. But we've also tried to do bigger games. So I'm just looking at my notes here. So just too much competition, and you need to pump more and more and more and more and more just to stay afloat. So I agree totally with what Gabriel was saying there, and we've had to do that as well. We've got like 50 plus something or 60 plus apps, I think, or games in the Amazon, Google, and iOS app stores, and for so long we've not had, you know, that increase. It's not been like we had 6 and now we've got 60, so we're making 10 times the amount of revenue. No, not a chance. It never ever happened like that at all. So that's a huge problem. So I do agree in his point. Like it's just going. The model is like tougher than ever before, and we are shooting ourselves in the foot. I think I did a video the other day talking about this. And somebody replied, and sorry, I forgot. I think it might have been Best Game Studios. There was a phrase that you said, and it was something like something of the commons, or it was basically like people would do something to improve something for themselves, like they'd release a new game to make more money for themselves, but in doing so they created a worse environment for people to for the overall industry. Do you know what I mean? So if you pump out more and more and more games that are just crappy, then you just make a bad experience for everybody, and overall, like, nobody wins, and the whole industry starts to go down. So so we put out more. We put out but less money made with partner. Yeah, so I mentioned that. Making better. The other point was as well that Gabriel said, and I do agree about this, is making better games or making better apps does not necessarily mean more money. That is absolutely true. That's 100% true. We spent maybe 3 months working on You Escape Sometimes 2. Yes, 2. The goal for that game was to build enough content and build a lot of games inside of one game. So it's got 4 games inside of one game, and it's got like, I don't know how many levels, but it must have like 100 plus levels. I can't remember exactly. But there's a dragon game in there. There's a platformer game. There's a gravity game where it goes up and down. So there's quite a lot of content in there, and there's also in-app purchases, and there's ads and so on. But we were only getting like 5 or 6 downloads a day, really, but we had put like 3 months of effort into that. So, you know, our guy was just working really a lot to build a lot of content, and I was doing a lot of testing and trying to do better screenshots. But the downloads were just terrible. We could not get the attention. And we spent 3 months doing on that, and I was actually very proud of that game. Really, I was very into that game, and it might have been a little bit selfish because I like retro style games and I like platformers, but more of my heart was into that game. It wasn't just something to make money, because it is obviously to make money, but it's something that I was actually very proud of as well. But it just wasn't making any money at all. It's only recently that it's done a little bit better because we've done a little bit more marketing for it. And when I say recently it's only done a little bit better, I mean that it's only started to just get over 100 downloads a day on Google Play and iTunes. That's what I mean. Before it was 5, 10 downloads a day. Now it's got, I think, around 100 a day on Google and iTunes, and that's, you know, that's nothing. We know the only reason that we are able to like continue as a business is because we have enough games in the store. And we're continuing to put games in the store. There's no like killer game that brings in like, let me think. Actually, there is a couple of games. We've got like 1, 2 or 3 games which bring in more money, of course. But the main reason why we're able to keep going is basically because we have so many games, and each game just brings in $1 each day or $2 or something like that through Chartboost or AppLovin. And so there's been so many dips down in the industry. Like at the start of this year, Chartboost started to go down. Why? Because every single ad in Chartboost is a slots game ad. It's a slots game ad. Every single one, or every other one, it's always a slots game ad. Every single time I check Chartboost. Why are people not downloading games? Why are players not downloading games through Chartboost? Because they've seen a million Chartboost ads a million slots games ads. And slot games are harder to get downloads for because it's more of a niche audience. So because those advertisers are slot games, the games make a higher ARPU overall, they're able to pay higher bids for the ads, and therefore their game ads show more in our games, but users don't click on them very often. The only game we do have one slots game in iTunes, and that actually has a good ARPU with chart boost ads. Doesn't make any in-app purchases, but it makes a good ARPU with chart boost ads because it's showing because it's showing slots games ads in a slots game. So that's why people are the users are matched. They like the ads, they like the game, and that's why it has a good ARPU. So there's been a lot of dips down. You know, it's late 2012 was a problem when Apple updated their algorithm to the Chopper search algorithm or something like that, which changed everything for us. Then that went. We had to sort of release more games. And then recently, from January, Chartboost started to do worse as well. But we've improved our marketing skill and we're focusing more on that area. So let me go to the next point. So I didn't make any good money, super low dollars. Yeah, you need to get the eyeballs. You need to get people to see your game. It is the biggest problem, maybe, on any internet marketing business. Not just games, not just apps, but also websites, also say you know, like we run the forum, anything like that, because there's so much now out there. You need to get the eyes. Getting the eyes is the most difficult and most important thing. Okay, so we're focusing more now on marketing. We've my guy is working full-time on marketing now. We're also working a lot more on what's it called, doing like social marketing as well, and trying to figure out what people want and what players want. So that's extremely important, getting the eyes on things, and I agree with that point. Even if you make a better game, you make a better app, you might increase the ARPU a little bit, and that's great. If you can make the game ARPU like say like $1 plus, then you can do paid advertising. But making a game with $1 plus is extremely hard. That's extremely hard. We only have like one game, which is an online poker game, which makes $1 plus. That's it. The rest of them are much lower. The slots game makes around 50 cents at the moment, maybe 60 cents. The rest of them are way below that level needed to do paid advertising. And when you do paid advertising like Chart Boost, for example, because we've done that, the ARPU drops because people will be tapping on the ad to simply to just check it out. They might not be a hardcore you know, say like you're advertising a Mahjong game, for example. You start to do paid ads for that game. The ads appear and people just click on it and they download it and check it out because they might be interested, but they're not really into that game. So your ARPU drops when you do paid advertising as well, is what we found. I don't know if that's the same for every company out there, but so even if you make a high ARPU game, still getting the eyes on it, finding the people that actually want to buy that and part with their money for your game is extremely difficult. I saw a guy on I think the forum the other day. It was a new post. Sorry, I can't remember who the post was from, but you said, hey, like I made an okay game the other day with some ads, but it just doesn't make any money. And I think you mentioned it was a running game. Or something like this, a running and jumping game. Maybe I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe like Monster Dash or what's the other famous one? Jetpack Joyride, for example. One of the reasons that is because there's already 1 million of those games out there. There's no reason. There's no reason for somebody to go and download your particular game from the App Store unless they see it and they think it's amazing or it's something different. We need to give different experiences now. I think it's extremely important. We can't just pump out something new. Can't just pump out the same thing over and over. It's really not going to work. It has to be something that stands out and you can find the correct audience for. Again, finding the eyeballs for the game. So yeah, I agree on that point that Gabriel said as well, was basically, you know, you have to get the eyeballs. It's not just about retention. It's not just about ARPU. Marketing, being able to find the right people specifically who enjoy your game. For example, people who like retro platform games like Mario or Mega Man or something. We're building platform games now, and we're not reskinning. We're not like changing the same code. We're building another platform game, but we're actually trying to improve that platform game, that platforming experience. The problem is getting the downloads as well. So, but hopefully Google's search algorithm and iTunes search algorithm will start to take into consideration the amount of time an amount of reopens, retention that a game has, more than just downloads. Maybe they do change it all the time, and they already do take that into consideration. But hopefully, that will start to have a bigger impact. So next point, yes, 2 got better recently because we did publishing. Yeah, yeah. There's a good point that Gabriel made about the gurus. I don't actually follow that many gurus on when it comes to app marketing or app business. I always have a lot of respect for app developers and app marketers and people who are very honest with their results and how they achieved it and how long they worked and how difficult it was. When someone's called a guru, I also don't like that, because the way that they're making money is basically by selling you something that may or may not already be making them money. If a guru is making $1 million a month on the App Store, why would they sell you the secret, to it? They wouldn't. They won't sell you the secret. It doesn't make any sense to do that, because they're inviting tons of competition, and they might say, well, they're really nice, people, and they want to share their secret. Probably not in business. Their goal is to obviously make money and to give the users some kind of value. They're the ones they're selling to, is the users' value, if they've got this huge secret. So when they're a guru, it's like, well, no, not really. So I'm very dubious when I also hear that from the gurus. So I think I do see like Carter Thomas's emails like sometimes, and he sometimes comes across like that. I don't know if it's true or not. I've not bought really any of his products, but it does always seem like this is the secret to make you rich on the App Store or something. And no, it's just not the case. It takes, I think, in any industry, any business, it takes a huge amount of grind, hard work, research, trial and error, blood, sweat and tears to get really good at it and to know what works, and a lot of flexibility, a lot of adapting in that business as well. I don't think the app stores are dead, even though I'm agreeing with his point. I don't think the app stores are dead. I think you've got to adapt, but I think the app stores will be the place where only the best can survive. Only the ones who understand the market and also know how to find the right users for their games, and also know how to build something brilliant as well, not just app flipping and app reskinning. It's real unfortunate the way that I actually got into. I've only done 1 or 2 or 3 maybe app reskins out of like 60 games or whatever. But what happened was, early on in 2011, when I finished the first 2 games that I coded in Unity, is if you guys have seen my story videos that I did maybe a month ago, I did a video of my journey from employee to entrepreneur. The first year is I did two games, or the first 6 months, and they made nothing. They made no money at all, even though I was so proud of them. And I was so excited to get them into the market, and I put my heart and soul into them. They made nothing. I only started to make money when I started to make games quickly, and I started to make a game like once a week, like a space shooter game, and some other like very simple. I found them addictive, simple yet addictive games, and just pumped them out there, and that's how it started to make money. It was such a shame after a while that I realized that was the only way that you could really make money, was to pump something out real quick. I wanted to put my heart and soul into something, because I wasn't really thinking about marketing and what the user was looking for and SEO and all these things. That's only happened like much more recently. So let me see. Another point, yes. The other point was as well, to what I was just saying, like we actually released 4 games recently that had things like chart boost ads in them, that had like app loving ads and some in-app purchases and so on. And those games probably will take more than 1 year to get a return on investment, an ROI. Really, they don't make anything, nothing at all. So it's almost been a complete waste of money for us to actually actually have those games developed. They weren't reskins, they were new games. but they're just terrible. Why would the user download them? They won't. Or even if a game is amazing now, even if it's like Castle Clash or something, you know, why would they download it? I know people do download Castle Clash, but it's a very successful game, I believe. But even if your game is amazing, why would a user download it if it's exactly the same as something else or 100 other things out there? The supply and demand is extremely important in any like area of business. It really affects things, you know. Supply and demand. Is there a big demand for games on the app stores when people have a mobile phone? Yes, there is a big demand. People love to play games, but the supply is even bigger than the demand, because it's not like we sell the game and then we have to produce a new cartridge and then sell it again. No, it's software, it's code. It just gets copied and then sent to the user's device. And so it's an endless supply for them. There's no, you know, you don't have to keep on producing. And that's a problem, because that means that the supply just goes way, way, way bigger than the demand. Like, and 50,000 apps or games released every month is a big problem. So, you know, it's not just making something that's unique or maybe something awesome, but also the marketing thing is extremely important, even more important than the game itself or the app itself. Really, getting the downloads, getting the eyeballs on your game is just more important now than it has ever been before. So if you're in this for the business, maybe being an app marketer is a better choice for you. But I know as game developers, our hearts are in actually building the game. So next point, looking at new ideas, something in series of VR. Okay, yeah. So sort of to lead on to that point as well, you know, this you know, the App Store thing is the App Stores have been around now for, like, you know, iOS has been around since 2008, I think, maybe 2009, and it's so saturated and so competitive now that we have to start to look at new areas in order to really expand. We could go on, you know, trickling on forever. It can happen. I think businesses who are okay at what they're doing, like us, for example, I think we're doing okay in the app business. We could trickle on forever, but who wants to trickle on forever? We don't want to trickle on. We want to go up. We want to make something amazing, something awesome, but we have to look at different areas, which is why we're building things like VR games. Now we're looking at VR and Oculus and the Vive and all of that stuff, and we're building now a VR game, like a world-building VR game, where you can create anything you want to create, you know, in this VR world. I think it's going to be, hopefully it will be awesome. I don't know, but it's definitely a space that's pretty new. So that's something that we're looking at as well. We have the cash flow to do that now a little bit. We have a look from Panda Tap in Shanghai. We're also going to do it with Cobalt Play as well soon, hopefully, and focus on an area that isn't so saturated, where the bar is a little bit higher for developers to get into, because the problem is right now with apps, everybody can develop one. Everyone has a PC, anyone can get on Google Play, and everyone has an Android phone. So that means anyone can build. So it's true, and that's a problem. It's a good thing and a bad thing, as I mentioned in my other video. And at the moment, for us, it's becoming a bad thing. So we need to get into areas where it is a little bit more expensive to develop for. It is a little bit more, the barrier is a little bit higher, and we can do that now. We can start to do that and really start to focus on building something amazing that we are, like, extremely proud of, that I feel extremely proud of as well, as opposed to just kind of rinsing and repeating, you know, which is what we do at the moment, is we rinse and repeat and try and focus on areas that we are getting better at, focusing on areas that we're making money with, but I really want to do something amazing. So let me think. So I want to feel proud, and I said, not just opportunistic marketing. Yeah, so the last point, I was just looking at my notes there, is pretty much what I just said. Not just making something based on, like, an opportunity, like a gap in the market, but just something which is something that we can feel really proud of, for sure. So yeah, this is what I wanted to say anyway, because I was kind of moved by Gabriel's video, and I guess recently had some kind of, like, maybe a bit of an upset. It sounds like he's had, like, much more success than we have. We've never been, like, in the position to, we've never made, like, thousands of dollars a day or anything like that. We've sort of slowly grown, and it's slowly got a little bit better this past, like, year, because we focused on marketing and ASO and building something better as well. which has taken time, but we do need to look into new areas now for sure. The app stores are just the most saturated, difficult business area to like work in at the moment. I guess it's like traditional sort of web marketing as well. You need to find a niche, and you need to be different than what's out there, but you need to be able to show people how you are different. If you are different, that's great, and you build something that's very cool and unique, that's awesome, but you need to be able to find a way to control that traffic, to know how to actually get people to that game or app that they will be interested in. For example, if it's like, you're focusing on people who enjoy monster trucks, then you've got a clear audience to market to. Or like we said, retro platform games, you've got a clear audience. But great, they might check out your game, but for us, retro games, there's thousands of them already out there, which are really good, like Lep's World, or Blue Kid or something like that. So we need to figure out how to be different and how to target that audience, how to get the download, and this is going to be the case for anything, as I said, not just app stores, but web marketing, any product out there in the world. That's extremely important, is how to get your eyeballs on your product or service. So anyway, but guys, definitely check out the video from Gabriel. You can go to www.asoprofessional.com/reskinning. Reskinning is one word. There's no hyphen in the middle, and it's pretty cool. So I think also check out his website as well for sure. Talking about ASO, he's got a lot of tips on there. ASO still can have an effect, definitely. That was the other point I was going to mention. Even though I think maybe Gabriel, his level of income is probably like way better than ours. Like our, I've done a ton of videos on this, like how much money we make, and on average we're making around $300 a day. Well, no, from like $200 to $300 per day, something like this recently, and maybe an average of $250. Like it's been a little bit better this past few months. So our target bar for actually getting okay money is maybe a lot lower than his. So we did the Kill the Ragdoll game, which is making like a 900 to 1,000 downloads every day, and that's pulling in some pretty good money from Chart Boost on iOS. But maybe for us, we had a good boost when the game started as well. But maybe for Gabriel, some other of like the very high the very successful players who are on the app stores, maybe for them that would be like extremely low, But for us, because of our business model, because we're able to keep costs pretty low, we're not in any kind of like very difficult situation, and we are able to expand a little bit and start to do new things like I'm talking about with VR. Also, I was looking at Apple TV today as well, which I'm going to be hopefully checking out and figuring out if we can get onto that platform and start building something awesome on there as well. That'd be very cool. So anyway, guys, definitely if you've seen this video on the free YouTube channel, come to howtomakemobilegames.com. That's all one word. That's the forum where I always post all of these videos as well. There's a ton of guys on there, awesome guys who, we share ideas and we give information and post. And it's a real, thank you so much to everyone who's like done comments and posts on the forum. If you want to share your game, check out the developer diary section. That's the third section down, I think. And you can post and tell people about your game. But if you do post, obviously don't just post a link with screenshots. Post like the development process, or how many downloads you get, or how much revenue, or what marketing you did. Share something that the other developers will be interested to read about. So, but anyway, guys, thanks again. I'm gonna go now and do some work. I kind of feel like I've woken up a little bit now with a little bit more energy, and I'm gonna crack on with some stuff. So I will speak to everyone soon, and have a good week. See you later. Bye.